Hello. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Sabine, and this is my very first video ever. And this is Olivia, who's walking by. Hey, Olivia. There's a bunny in the backyard, and she's very preoccupied. Anyway, at a time when everybody and their dog seems to have a YouTube channel, I figured, hey, I can have a YouTube channel with my dog. The intent was to one day actually just film us taking walks out in various places, but I adopted her about a year ago almost, and she's still very reactive, and that isn't happening, but that is the eventual goal, is to take dog walking videos with some kind of gimbal or such. Anyway, I would like to, I'm here in southern Alberta, Canada. I would like to acknowledge the fact that the Blackfoot Nation are the original custodians of this land, and then colonialism happened, and we can all agree that was a very bad idea. I know nothing about video editing. I know nothing about anything when it comes to making a video. I don't even know what the difference between a podcast and a vlog is. I don't care. I think the knitting community has been very welcoming and accommodating and understanding, and so that's kind of what I'm relying on here. I don't have I'm single, I'm childless, and it's the Easter weekend, and I'm currently on EI, employment insurance, so I have absolutely nothing to do with myself. So I thought, hey, let's go ahead and make a video to share with you. So if there's any feedback, I'd greatly appreciate it to try and make the video quality better. I'm hugely intimidated by any kind of editing software. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't want to be intimidated, but I don't even know where to start. If you think that I would benefit from having a better microphone or a light, or, I mean, I'm filming this at nighttime, so I'm sure the lighting is terrible. Apologies all around. Anyway, so I don't even know why I'm making a knitting video. I don't know the first thing about knitting. I just recently started. I started shortly after, or shortly before, I guess, I had gastric bypass surgery. So I'm filming this on March the 29th and 2024, and I had gastric bypass on December 28th. 2023. So I'm just at the 3-month or 13-week mark post-surgery, and it's very common knowledge that, like, I anticipated this beforehand, that after surgery, not just immediately after surgery, but like forever going forward, people who've had weight loss surgery are just always cold. And I'm always cold anyway, because I can never find anything that actually fits me properly, aside from being relatively plus sized. I also have a very broad frame, broad shoulder. I'm a broad, and I have gorilla arms, and I'm sick and tired of people providing me with the brilliant idea, hey, I could just wear men's clothes all the time. This is a shirt that was custom made for me, admittedly overseas, but even with the custom measurements, it still ended up being too short. I happen to love the color of it and love it otherwise, so I've kept it. I'm tired of having to roll everything up, and then I'm lucky to have a few long sleeve t-shirts that fit me, but it's a very casual look, and it doesn't seem to change. It's what I'm always wearing is this type of layering when I'm cold. And I also figured that if I can start to knit now, then by the time I've actually lost weight, and kind of stabilized my weight, I'll be able to make some garments that are actually like really decent. So the other challenge with myself anyway is that, yes, I am very long in the limbs and very broad in the shoulders and chest and such, and broad all around really. I've got an unusual, I'm very tubular. Like my overbust, my bust, my underbust, my waist are all pretty much the same. Like they're within 1 inch of each other. I have a spare tire around my hips, which didn't used to be, but it's kind of developed recently. But so anything that is tailored just ends up not fitting me at all, period. And then because if I want something that's long enough in the sleeves, they end up making it really long in the body. And I'm not long in the body. I'm only 5'8.5". But I have a 35-inch sleeve and a 35-inch inseam. So it's just always tough to find anything. And I think everybody's that way. I think we create this society where, or a fashion industry where we're trying to, this is not new, we're trying to fit into a mold, and it just doesn't work. About 20, what year is this? About 21 years ago, I went on my very first vacation ever, which was in Thailand, and I had myself a dress and a suit made, and I was astonished how amazing I looked in it. It's because it was actually made to fit me. Sadly, that was many pounds ago, so it doesn't fit me anymore, but I still have it with the, with the hopes, of course, of fitting into it again one day. So I just figured if I can learn to knit properly, then I can have some nice garments. I did purchase a sewing machine shortly before surgery because I figured it'll be nice to make some small adjustments. I am not a good sewer. If I were to try and sew my own clothes and wear them in public, I would not be comfortable with that. So, and maybe the same probably goes for knitted garments right now as well. I think there's a learning curve, obviously, it somehow the sewing it's just not good. And also it takes up so much room. Like you need a gigantic table to do things on, and I don't really have that. You're right now looking at the only space in my house that isn't chaos. So everything around me is just such a mess. Oh well. So it goes. Anyway, so I learned to knit a little bit when I was younger, and I think a lot of us did, and then just never did it again. I picked it up again. I learned from a lovely lady in Calgary at the farmers market. There was two ladies. Linda was the yarn dyer, and the other lady, I can't remember her name. She was left-handed. She was a left-handed knitter, and she taught us how to knit. And she was awesome, and I'm sure she still is awesome. I just can't remember her name now. And then I put the needles down, and I only ever really knitted flat. I had knitted a few pairs of socks. They did not. I'm not a sock knitter. Not going to happen. So there's that. This has been a very long intro. I should probably cut this all out. I'm not going to cut this out. I don't know how to edit. If you're still with me, thank you. So I hope you've got something. I hope you've got something good to do while you're listening to me ramble. And so anyway, I decided that I wanted to learn to knit garments, and it's really overwhelming when you've never done that before. I would have loved to have taken a class, but that doesn't seem to be a thing. And YouTube is great; you can learn anything on YouTube. So and somehow at some point, Jessica McDonald's Knit Your First. I can't remember the name of the video. I will link it down in the description, though. That much I think I know how to do. But Jessica McDonald had this amazing 4-hour, woman, you are a rock star. A 4-hour video that takes you through every single step of the process. And I actually watched the entire video while I was knitting up a sweater for my dog, and just to make sure that it was going to be suitable for, I didn't want to put, like weeks of work into something just to find out that this isn't working for me. So I watched the video before I decided to purchase the pattern, and I'm ever so glad that I did. She really does hold your hand while doing this in every imaginable way. I also wanted something that wasn't going to be too overwhelming, so the Woodsmoke Sweater is a very straightforward construction. It's like not even a raglan. And so I highly recommend, and I know Jessica has got multiple videos on YouTube, not only highlighting her designs, but also giving instructions on how to do things like color work and such. So I'm sure I will be revisiting a lot of her videos again, but definitely lots of love to Jessica because she's absolutely amazing. So I had decided, okay, yep, I'm going to go ahead and make this sweater, and I needed, the sweater calls for sport weight yarn. I called it sporting when I went into the shop, so I got paper here. stop it. And so I went into, I think, the only knitting store we have in Lethbridge, and mentioned that I needed sport weight yarn, and the only thing they had was the Barocco Vintage DK, and which is a superwash. It's an acrylic, 50% acrylic and 42% superwash wool. So it really wasn't what I wanted, based on what I hear other people say about the fact that it just makes it so unpredictable, I think, as to how a garment is going to fit after you have knitted it up. So I wasn't too thrilled with it, but I figured, oh well, it's my first sweater. You know, the yarn was within reasonable means with respect to, you know, a financial commitment. I figured it was, it's what you have to kind of fork over in order to learn something, and I'll still have something in the end that will hopefully be wearable. So so that's kind of what I went with that. I chose the color Twilight. I don't know why it's called Twilight. I think it looks like denim. I don't know how that looks on the screen, but I really like denim. In the past, it's been something that's always looked wonderful on me. I've since then learned that I think with the aging and changes in my skin, it's not as flattering on me as it used to be, but it's fine. Like it's a very neutral color, and I really like it. And I had decided that, because I'm like going, okay, I've just had gastric bypass surgery. I was just starting to lose some weight. I was, I think I cast on somewhere around January 30th, I think I cast on. So it was about a month after surgery. And the first week I lost nothing. And then that didn't surprise me. Then it was a gradual decline in the weight. Not as fast as I'd anticipated. You hear so many resources out there saying that you're going to lose like 25 pounds a month or more. Nowhere near that for me. It's very deflating, and I'm not going to go into it. I just, I was surprised. But anyway, I was having a steady decline, so I figured, okay, it'll probably take me, I had no idea how long it was going to take me to knit a sweater, how long it was going to take me to knit a sweater, but I figured I'm just going to, Jessica walks you through how to measure yourself and what positive and negative ease is. And so I decided, okay, I was, at that point, my chest circumference was 50 inches. So in theory, I should have gone with a size 54, based on her recommendations. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go and make a size smaller, because by the time I'm done, I will have lost some weight. And lo and behold, I accidentally made a size smaller still. So I've actually knitted something that was two sizes smaller than what I had intended to make. Oops. But, and I also ended up buying not way too much. Yeah, I bought 2 skeins too many of the yarn, and that was, I just did the math on this. I think it was a calculation error in the store. I knew I wanted a little extra because of the gorilla arms, but I think we made a mistake in the store, and so I bought 2 skeins too many. I now have a stash, or I'll probably, who knows what I'll do with it. I'll figure that out later. In any case, I did as I was told. I made a gauge swatch, and Jessica recommends you make a large gauge swatch so you can count your gauge at various spots to see how consistent or inconsistent you are with your tension. And I was pretty consistent, so yay. I was about half a stitch less than what was recommended, and that was using a larger needle size than what was recommended. But I figured, whatever. Like, I'm going to be losing weight. I'm just going to go ahead and stick with this. So right, I should have made a 54-inch, should have made a sweater for a 54-inch chest size, and instead I made it for a 46. So she, during her video, if you haven't seen it, she's actually making a baby sweater. I think the pattern has like 20 sizes from infant to, what is the biggest size? 70 inches, which is 178 centimeters. So it's a broad, this is a size inclusive as it comes. And so she makes an infant one, but then walks you through it for any of the steps that might not apply to the infant, but do apply to the adult. So that's been really, really awesome. And she uses the magic loop technique for working the yoke and the collar, or whatever you call that. Is that a collar? I'm going to call it a collar, and the cuffs and such. And I have a very old set of interchangeable needles. I didn't even use them much before because I'd never worked in the round prior to this project, but the cables are really stiff on it. Like, this is if I'm going to be using magic loop technique, this is not the cable set to be using it on. So I just went ahead and used DPNs, which it gets a bit fiddly, especially in the beginning always, but I won't say that I'm confident with DPNs, but I ended up not having any ladders, so that was a bonus. So instructions were fantastic. She tells you how to read a pattern. She shows you how to measure yourself, how to cast on, how to knit, how to purl. Like, everything is completely included in all of this. Short rows. It was the first time me doing short rows, so that was kind of cool. And she also walks you through how to get rid of those pesky underarm holes that you get. So I'm very happy with that. So it was a very, very thorough instructions, both written and also with the video. They complement each other really well. So I highly recommend her pattern. The other thing that she did was she provided a stitch count. Like, every time you have to do an increase or decrease, she tells you how many stitches you should have on your needles at that point in time. So that was really, really helpful. I was pretty good. On rare occasions I'd be off by one, and I just kind of, whatever, fudged it. So I did. This is so weird. So on my back, on 3 separate spots in 3 separate rows, I have now eyelets, like little holes. I don't even know how to make an eyelet, but I've created 3 of them. So it's easy for me to identify what the back of the garment is now. And by the time I realized what I'd done, I was so many rows already into it. There was just no way I was going to tink that much back. Like, it just wasn't that important to me. I don't dare unravel things. If I did, I would never get it back on the needles again. So that was an executive decision I made. It's kind of like my sweater, my very first sweater ever, is going to have 3 holes in it that, if they were somewhat centered, they might look decorative, but they're not, and that's okay. So I basically just followed the instructions to a T. The decreases for the sleeves, I did a more gradual decrease because I knew I was going to need something longer than what was suggested on there, and so that was good. Let me see here. I think I have some notes on that. I don't. Sorry, dead air. So I just kept some very detailed notes as to how I did my stitch decreases. So I cast on January 30th. I finished February 19th, and in between I visited my mom for a couple of days. I don't really. I give my attention to my mom when I visit her, so I didn't really do any knitting during that time. And so during this 3-week span, I kept losing and regaining the same 1.4 pounds nonstop. Like, that's all it was like, if I can figure out how to put a picture in here, I actually have a graph of my weight loss for that month, and it's just a horizontal line. Like, there was no weight loss. So I made a sweater, which I intended to make 1 size smaller than what I was at the time of beginning of casting on, but actually ended up being 2 sizes smaller. Plus, I'm a tight knitter, and I lost absolutely no weight whatsoever during this time. So as I was trying it on, it was feeling really tight, especially across the chest. And I think that's the issue with this partly is also that I am not a busty woman. I've never been popular with the boys, so I think a lot of people, if they have a certain chest circumference, some of that is, it's not, and I'm just so incredibly broad that it's just not proportional to most people's measurements. So as this sweater just ended up being so much tighter on me than in strictly in the yoke area. I think there's also very little give in that area as well. So that was, I was so hugely disappointed because I wanted to finish the project and just wear it, even if I wasn't thrilled with the color, even if I had holes in the back, even like, I just wanted to wear my sweater, and it looked like it just wasn't going to fit. And then it's actually, hold on a second, because Jessica provides here so the schematic for the size that I made, not the one that I intended to make, but for the size that I made, the yoke depth, so from the top to the chest circumference, was supposed to be 8.5 inches. I ended up being 7.1 inches only. So I was short in this area. The side length, well, I made that longer because I wanted to. The sleeve length was supposed to be 18 inches. I made 22. I could have done 23 actually. I think I would have liked an extra inch, but I'm so happy with the length of the sleeve, you can't even imagine. The chest circumference should have been a 46 for what I made. It ended up being 43 just because of my tight knitting. And the upper sleeve circumference should have been a 14 inches, and it ended up being 13 inches on me. The cuff circumference should have been 8 inches, and I did 6 inches. So the entire sweater ended up being so much smaller than it should have been, and it was already made in a size smaller than I even needed. And then I blocked it. I had never blocked before. Jessica walks you through the blocking process. Blocking is magic, oh my gosh. And I think the reason it made so much difference is because this happy accident, the yarn just has so much superwash in it. So even though I didn't want superwash, I think as a result it just relaxed so much more than I'd anticipated. It is still at this point really tight in the yoke area, but everything else relaxed a whole lot bit more. It fits so wonderfully. I wear it constantly. Like, I'm looking for excuses to wear my sweater. I finished on February 9th. It's been over a month now. I've worn it on most days to some degree, either when I'm walking the dog or I'm sitting at home knitting. I usually have something on underneath, like either a camisole or a long sleeve tee or something like that. It's like I'm so happy with how comfortable the sweater is. It's not, I wish it were a turtleneck, because I'm just feeling cold in the neck area, so I'm having to put a shawl on or something. The other thing is, because my hair is relatively short right now, I have a most unfortunate tattoo in the back of my neck. It's not looking pretty. And I don't have the means right now to get it corrected, but I know who's going to fix it once I finally get that opportunity. In any case, so I have to always wear something around here. But it's, I'm so happy with it. It doesn't, I've worn it so often. I've spilled yogurt on it. I just kind of wiped it clean. I haven't really done any, I'm nervous to put it. I'm the kind of person who, when I buy a garment that's hand wash only, I'll put it in the washing machine on the gentle cycle. So I've never hand washed anything. So I don't know how to hand wash this. I guess in theory, because it's a super wash, I should be able to put it in the washing machine, but I'm really nervous to do so. This is where you tell me, oh, just go do it, and then I will. But I mean, so far, like, honestly, I haven't really had a need to wash it yet. So I know that time will come, but I've worn it so often. So thank you, Jessica, for designing this sweater and for making such an amazing video. That's just been so very helpful. I know tens of thousands of people have watched it, and I know every single one of them is very, very grateful for it. Okay, I'm going to see if I can. I was planning to do a whole bunch of knitting while I was doing this. I'm clearly not getting that done. I'm going to try and pause the video, put the sweater on. I don't really have much room here to show you, but I just want to show what the yoke looks like. Let's see how this goes. If I knew how to do that, I'd do that little click thing, but I don't. In any case, so it's kind of hard to show, but I mean, it's fitting me well. It's doing good in the sleeves. I bought 9 skeins and I used 6 and this much. So you can actually see where I picked up, where I switched yarn over there. But so it fits fine. I've got a bit of puckering going on in the yoke area here. I should have defuzzed this, sorry. It's fine. It's just like, it's really just up here, like it's almost a boat neck, and it doesn't feel very comfortable. So it should be more of a crew, and that's just because of. So I should probably just go ahead and that shows up more on camera than it does in real life. Anyway, as happy as I would be to try and make another sweater, I think I'm just going to leave it. And my intention was then to make a different one. Like I said, I've decided that I shouldn't be using a circular yoke. The sucky part is that I think most colorwork sweaters out there have a circular yoke. I know there's others out there that don't, but I'm not ready for colorwork yet anyway. But if and when I am, I'll just have to look for patterns that don't have that. I think I'm just hard to fit that way, and yeah, for my next pattern, for my next sweater, I decided that what I want is more of a drop shoulder construction. It's something that's oversized as well, so that way if it doesn't quite fit me, I've got a cushion there to deal with respect to sizing, and I wanted a turtleneck. So I did, I'm just kind of finishing it up now. Hopefully I'll have it finished soon, and then I'll kind of upload another video, probably of the same quality as you're seeing right now. And but I'll show that off. The project that I'm hoping to work next is I'm thinking of making a vest, like not a button-up vest, but just a sleeveless sweater. But I'd like it to be ideally V-neck. I don't know how hard that is to make. Ideally with some ribbing on it. I haven't lost much weight. Like, it's been 13 weeks since surgery and I'm down a total of 30 pounds, which is, I'm trying to not, it's not nearly as, it's not what I was expecting. It's not what anybody was really expecting. I mean, we don't focus on weight in these things. We focus more on, like, are you getting your fluids? Are you getting your protein, obviously, sleep. That was a problem before surgery. Now that I'm off work, that isn't a problem right now. I'm finally, I was a night shift worker, only night shift worker, very irregular schedule, and I'm sorting that out much better now, which is great. But I'm still not functioning as well as I'd like to. I've had a hard time stringing sentences together as a result of severe sleep deprivation. I'm getting better. Yay! I just gotta find a different job now. So. Anyway, so I haven't lost as much weight as I've wanted to, but I have lost some. And so there is a shirt that I had made from Ishakti. There are ethical dilemmas regarding this kind of thing, but and I probably didn't know that initially, but anyway, I in my possession, I have a shirt. None of us are going to the good place. We are all, if you have electronics, you have contributed to child slave labor. So we're all guilty to a certain degree. We try to do the best that we can. I have a shirt that was made most likely in Bangladesh, and it's nice, but it's heavily patterned, like more so than I'm comfortable with, and it really emphasizes the fact that I don't have much of a figure. So I would like to do is have like a slip over I have ADHD. I'd like a slip over vest kind of thing. I'd like a deep V, and I would love some suggestions as to what kind of pattern that there might be. I know there was something, I think it was either petite knit or My Favorite Things. I get those two kind of confused. What I just finished off, or what I'm finishing off right now, is from My Favorite Things, and I found that the written instructions were really great for that. It's a fairly simple design, so like that's my understanding is that petite knit is a little bit harder to follow, like if you don't have the knitting experience. But anyway, if anybody knows of a great structured vest with a V-neck on it, that would be great. Ideally something that I can wear both over top of a shirt, but then maybe also without in the summertime. Versatility is great. So that's that. And then also I just found 9 years ago I had this great idea to make I found a pattern for a blanket, and I thought it was the most perfect blanket in the entire world. And I bought 22 balls of acrylic yarn in 8 different colors to make this blanket. And so it never happened because I've had a crazy job that has been literally killing me for the last 9 years. And now that I am on Ravelry, I'm noticing that everybody who's tried to make this pattern has been complaining about it, how difficult it is to stitch up because you make it in so many different parts and then have to piece it back together again. And it's in my opinion, it's not looking nearly as good as I thought it would, based on the on how it was presented in the book. So I now have a lot of acrylic yarn in 8 different colors, and I don't know what to make with it. I mean, I'm sure I can just kind of like make a sweater and that kind of thing, but if any other suggestions for acrylic yarn, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. It is very late. It is 8:45 p.m. and it's very dark out. And I apologize for everything that's gone wrong with this video, which is my ums and ahs and me talking too fast and my hands and my eyes going all over the place. I was hoping to just be knitting and then just focus on that, and that way I wouldn't be quite so crazy, but I am. And I'm trying not to be. It all makes much more sense in here than it does when it comes out, you know? Anyway, if you've stayed this long, you're amazing. I'm so incredibly appreciative. Thank you. And if you've made it this far, then you owe me a like. And no, you don't. But you know, what does it hurt? And I would love to hear anything. Where are you from? And any suggestions with respect to how I can affordably improve my video quality and V-neck vest pattern would be wonderful as well. Thank you. I will never see you. You are on the other side. I won't see you. Maybe you'll see me. Maybe you won't. We'll see. You'll see. I'll see. Well, things will happen. I hope you have a great weekend, a great night, great day, whatever time of day you're watching this. And I hope you have a wonderful dog with whom you can have wonderful walks. My dog is... when she's good, she's amazing. She's the most amazing dog in the entire world when she's good. And when she's not good, she is, well, she terrifies people. So it's been difficult, but it's getting better. And she's a cuddler, and I love the fact that she's a cuddler. So that's great as well. I'm getting off topic. Okay, 34 minutes. There we go. Bye-bye.